What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another lesson of Trader Bootcamp, right? This is part 4, market psychology, how to create structure in such an unstructured environment, right? Very important. So lesson objectives, right, is complex market environment. We're going to be breaking down the market environment, its complexity, right? All its variables, its endless opportunity, right? And obviously how we perceive the information. We're going to break down what structure actually is, why it's so important, how to create structure in such an unstructured environment, and how structure leads to consistency, right? So let's dive right into it. The complex market environment. So the market is an environment filled with endless freedom, variables, and opportunities. Price action is constantly moving in all types of directions. We got news, fundamental catalysts, right? We got supply, demand. We have all these different things, volume, that are adding to the craziness, right? No two trades will ever contain the same variables or circumstances or outcomes. As much as we would like to think so, there is no such thing as two symmetrical trades, right? It is all up to us to create the structure to eliminate a mysterious relationship resulting in random outcomes, right? Random is very bad. We're going to break that down. So we were raised in a society that created rules, that created structure for us, right? That we took for granted, right? Going to school, laws. We were born understanding that we had to eat, right? We had to have hygiene. We needed food, water, shelter, right? These are things that humanity has built over time and learned and passed down through generation, right? So what seems simple to us, right, is a very structured environment. The market is completely unstructured, and we are not used to that whatsoever, right? So we think that we could trade for 2 hours and be done for the day, right? Trading is based on my rules, my freedom, how I want to do it, and it seems very appealing, right? We get to create when we get in and out of the market. We get to control the criteria we want to see before putting on a trade, before putting risk on the line, right? We get to control where we put our stop losses. We get to control all the knowledge, all the analysis, right? We get to control all this. And though that sounds perfect in a perfect world, that adds a lot of responsibility that traders are not ready to handle, right? They're not ready to take on that responsibility, right? So when a trade goes wrong, they're so quick to blame the market. They're so quick to blame the market makers, the influencers, their mother, their father, whatever it is that trader wants to blame it on, they're going to end up blaming it on. And this is why 90% of traders fail. So our job as traders is to consistently make profits by developing a consistent state of mind that allows us to consistently identify profitable opportunities, right? So consistency is a state of mind. Everybody thinks consistency is something you achieve through getting good as a trader. In reality, becoming a good trader is a trader that follows a consistent, systematic way of thinking, a process, an approach, a structured approach, right? Because you have all these variables coming in and out, making every trade different, every trade completely unsymmetrical. So the structure within yourself and your ability to perceive this information is what makes the trader consistent, right? So without a systematic, repeatable, structured process that controls your behavior and the criteria it takes to identify a high probability setup, this can become overwhelming, causing us to make random trades which lead to random inconsistent results, right? So we talked about this earlier. Randomness leads to fear and anxiety. If you don't have a systematic approach or criteria, or say before every trade you're hopping into, you get very nervous, right? It's probably because you don't have specific criteria or a trade plan, right? You're not hopping in a trade going, hey, I'm getting in at 400. If it drops to 3999, right, 10 cents below, there's my stop loss. That's it. I'm risking 10 cents to make $2. Once you can accept that risk, right, accept that structure, right, you release the fear and anxiety because now you are in control of what happens next, right? You can't control price action, but you can control your behavior. And remember, the market cannot do anything to the trader who controls his behavior, right? We control that through structure, right? Structure leads to confidence, structure leads to conviction, right? Two of the C's that you need to become a consistently profitable trader, right? So what is structure, right? How do we develop the structure? How do we figure it out? Like, what is it? Okay, so I got two different definitions up here. A, to construct or arrange according to a plan, right? B, give a pattern or organization to a complex environment. That is literally the definition of the market, right? Create a pattern, a pattern approach to a complex environment, right? So structure is not only to create a trade plan, but also the ability to follow it precisely. This is key to developing consistency, right? So I talk about this all the time. It's our jobs as traders to develop a trade plan. But there was a time where I would come up with pre-market analysis, I would come up with trade plans. I understood my edge, but when it came down to it, I failed to follow it, right? So I started to really dive deep into my journal and correct and measure myself and my ability to actually follow my process, right? It's one thing to create a process, but if you're not following it, it's useless. Second bulletin. The only thing more important than your trading strategy is your ability to follow it. It means nothing if you don't demonstrate the discipline in the moment, right? While you're trading, when that bell goes off, when it comes down to it, you need to be able to identify a trade plan and follow it, right? Precisely to a T. Otherwise, it's useless, and then you fall back into that randomness, right? So, through extensive journaling and trader accountability, you will find the structure you need to become a successful trader, right? Every trader is unique in the way they perceive market information. Yet most traders turn out the same, inconsistent and unsuccessful. Think about that. Everybody's unique. The life you lived, the life I lived, completely different. We are all unique, right? How is it through such uniqueness that so many traders turn out to be average, inconsistent, and unsuccessful? It's because most traders fail to identify where they went wrong as an individual and fix it, right? Structure is the road you build through self awareness that will protect you from trading errors that cripple every other trader, right? So if every trader is unique, right, how is it they all turn out the same? It's because most people do not like taking accountability. Most people, right, were born with very strict parents or very structured environment that they didn't like, right? So when it comes to creating structure in an unstructured, complex environment, they don't want to do that. So subconsciously, they make these random decisions, right? This is what I went through. I would come up with a trade plan, right? Write it down or burn the strategy into my mind, right? But when it came down to the moment, I failed to follow it, right? And I found out subconsciously I had issues with creating structure, with rules, with XYZ. So this was something I had to dive deep into and get past because it was crippling my P&L. It was hurting my profits, right? And at the end of the day, it's our job as traders to identify profitable opportunities, right? And if you can identify them and you got a trade plan, but you can't follow it because you have some sort of issue with structure, you need to dive deep into yourself, into trader accountability, and figure out where that's coming from and fix it, right? You need to realign your beliefs and expectations with one that can follow structure, develop a trade plan, and start to become responsible for your outcomes, right? This is how you build that road through self-awareness, right? That's going to lead you to success as a trader. Now, why is it structure so important? I know we just dove into a little bit, but now we're going to dig a little deeper. So, even if you're consistent with making the wrong decision, right? This is better than randomness. Because if you are at least developing consistency in your mind, figuring out what not to do, right? You are still demonstrating structure and consistency, right? Random winning and losing leads to fear and anxiety, which will cost us all our ability to access the knowledge and skills we've worked so hard to develop, right? So this is very important. So when you when you're acting out of randomness and you're keeping that mysterious relationship with the market to avoid trader accountability, you're experiencing fear and anxiety because you don't know what defines a good trade, right? If you can't define a process that results in a good trade, right? That means you don't have confidence or you don't have consistency. If you don't have those two things, you're going to have fear and anxiety, right? And when you are going through fear and anxiety, right, you cannot access the information you learned from this course or you learned throughout your whole life, right? I never forget this one time I was in a Tesla trade, right? I took Tesla long and I took the S&P 500 short, right? I was super fearful, tons of anxiety. They were two pretty much completely random trades. There was some reason of why I took them, but it was not based on criteria or edge or structure, right? So I was fearful and I was anxious. When I was fearful and while I was anxious, I was not able to even dive deep into TOS and change a very simple setting on my computer, right? I wanted to add the 9-day moving average, and my brain couldn't figure it out. I was in a mind freeze. I was stuck. And I know this has happened to every trader listening to this. When you get stuck or you're in a mind freeze, right? That is from fear and anxiety, right? So when you have fear and anxiety, you don't have faith and you're failing, right? And you cannot access all that information that you've gathered in your brain, no matter how small it may be, right? So it's very important to get rid of, to diminish fear and anxiety. And the way to do that is through a structured trade plan. If you dive deep into every trade, right, and you have a trade plan, and even if it's as simple as, hey, I've identified pre-market low, I'm looking for a break and retest that pre-market low. My stop loss is 20 cents above and my target is $2 below, right? I'm risking 20 cents to make $2. This is my trade plan and I'm sticking to it. And you have the ability to stick to that trade plan. You're not going to have any fear, right? And you're not going to have any anxiety. It literally pulls all of the negative characteristics out of trading immediately, right? So having a structured approach and your ability to follow it in such a complex environment will create confidence and esteem within yourself to consistently identify specific criteria that will generate consistent results, right? A well thought, crafted, unique, because remember, every trader is unique. Every trader needs different structure, right? My plan and your plan is completely different. Structured trade plan based on your strengths and weaknesses as a trader will build the mindset it takes to control your impulsiveness and irrational decisions in the now moment that are keeping you from becoming a consistent trader, right? So think a well thought, crafted, unique trade plan, process, structure based off what you're good at and what you're bad at, right? Will build the mindset it takes to control yourself when it means the most. So how do we create this structure? How do we create this trade plan, right? By journaling your trades every day, along with your ability to follow your trade plan and trading strategy will give you your strengths and weaknesses as a trader. So basically, we've talked about this in team metrics. You log every single trade you take, right? I don't care if it's good, bad, ugly, don't matter what happened. I don't matter how bad you did, and I definitely it doesn't matter how good you did. All what matters is that you log your trade, right? We've demonstrated how to do this in team metrics. You put it in Microsoft OneNote, right? Copy paste, and then you write out what your trade plan was. Did you follow it? If you didn't follow it, what kept you from following it, right? Pros, cons, strengths, weaknesses, right? And when you do this, you gather data. Based on this data, you will find out the areas you're struggling in and why you're failing. Is it patience? Is it impulsiveness? Is it emotional decisions, right? Is it not following your trade plan? Is it not coming up with a trade plan, right? Are you identifying areas that are wrong, that are not critical, right? Is there no volume? Whatever it is, just gather it, right? This is what you need to identify and give ordinance to and command change to, right? Change comes from the ability to change your thinking patterns, right? So think about it. You gather this data, right? After about, I never forget, I did this for about a year, right? When I first started journaling and diving really deep into it, I didn't want to do it. And you know why I didn't want to do it? I didn't want to take accountability. I didn't want to admit that I was failing because of me. I wasn't ready to let that sink in. And as long as you're not ready to do that, no doubt, the only person you're hurting is yourself. The only person that is going to get hurt from this is you and your loved ones, because you're going to be throwing money out the window, right? You're not going to be giving your girl, your daughter, your kid, your son the best life that he deserves. We all deserve to become $1 million traders, right? And if you want it bad enough, you will get it. It all starts with putting in the work and logging your trades. I know I've preached this in every single video in Trader Bootcamp, and I hope you're getting the message that logging your trading material is the most important thing you can do as a trader, and taking full responsibility, accountability, and ownership over your actions. Once you can do that, right, now you can then take that data and go, okay, I was afraid on this trade. Why was I afraid? Well, my trade plan wasn't bulletproof, right? Okay. So going into the next trade, what am I going to do differently, right? On every trade, I'm going to have a stop loss, an entry, and exit, right? And it's going to be based on areas of value, right? Okay. So based off my pre-market plan and my analysis throughout the day, right? If I see this happen at this area, I then do this. See, this is structure. If we don't approach this area, our critical level, that I'm not making a trade, right? This is structured. This is how you control your behaviors. This is how you control your mind. This is how you then change your thinking patterns, right? So instead of at 9:30 when the bell goes off and you go, okay, I hope I have a good day today, right? Now you start saying, I know I'm going to have a good day today, because I know no matter what situation I'm presented, no matter what opportunity price action gives me, I know I am going to act accordingly. When I go into a trade day, right, and I'm doing my pre-market plan at 8:30, right, 9:30 bell goes off, I'm calm. I'm completely in control of myself, right? No one's putting a gun to my head telling me to get in a trade, right? I know based off my intuition, based off my ability to identify the moment, what's in front of me, I'm going to make the correct decision. I'm going to put on a trade. That trade may not go my way, but I will be in control of when I get in the trade, when I get out of the trade. I will be in control of following my trade plan. I am in control of my behaviors, and the market cannot do anything to the trader that controls his behaviors, whether it's impulsiveness, whether it's greed, whether it's fear, right? These are all emotional, human characteristics. The market does not generate fear. Your brain generates fear from the candlesticks, right? From the indecision, from the unstructured, right? So as we grow as traders and create this structure, basically what this is a road to keep your emotions and your decisions in check, right? It's a mindset, right? And once again, this is what a consistent trader looks like. A consistently profitable $1 million trader is the trader that can control himself in any situation. He has control not over the situation, but of himself. He's got confidence in himself and his abilities to identify a trading setup, identify a trading strategy, right? And he's got the conviction to follow through it, right? Every trader is unique because we all process information differently. It is your job to take accountability and identify where you're struggling as a trader and what behaviors are holding you back from reaching your full potential. No one else can do this for you. No one else can wake you up, get you out of bed, and go, all right, you're impatient as a trader, right? How are you going to work on that, right? No one can do that. So what helped me is creating an alter ego, right? Somebody that I was trying to be each and every single day, right? I call them Jody, right? Jody is the trader that shows up every single day with complete structure. Jody controls his losses like nothing. He's in a bad trade, he gets out immediately, right? He understands where price needs to go to prove his trading setup invalid, right? We break this down in tons of other lessons. You need to have the ability to control your behaviors, especially when money's on the line, right? When risk is involved, right? Money is very emotional. We all need money, right? We all want to perform well. And the only way to perform well is to create structure to control yourself from acting out of line, right? It's very important. The market has the only thing market generates is opportunity. That's it. Price action, movement, supply and demand. Price up, price down. That's it. The market generates wealth. You can accept wealth, right? Whether that's from self-sabotaging beliefs, behaviors, whatever reason it may be, right? You cannot control yourself and you act impulsive, right? You get in a trade and it goes against you and you don't want to lose, so you hold on longer. Maybe you double down. You make these decisions that are hurting your performance. Structure is what you need to develop to control yourself, right? To get you the control over your behaviors. This is how you're going to become a super successful trader. So, how structure creates consistency. So, implementing the accountability it takes to dive deep and change trading errors is not easy, right? It's not easy to have a good trade, journal it, and still write down where you struggled because maybe you weren't sticking to your trade plan. Maybe you got lucky. The best thing that can happen to you as a trader is understand where you're getting lucky. Because if you are putting on trades and you're winning and you think you're actually doing it based on a trade plan, but in reality you're just getting lucky, that's the worst thing that can happen to a trader. When I first started trading, it was a bull market, right? It was 2018. Market was ripping. You can literally throw a dart at anything, and there was like a 70% chance that the S&P 500 was going up weekly by about $12, right? You could not miss. As long as you bought above pre-market high, you were making money, right? And what that did was hurt me as a trader because I actually thought I was good at it, right? And in reality, I'm not going to say I was getting lucky. Based on those current market conditions, I was doing the right thing, right? But once the bear market came and once the extra volatility and the mess, all this crazy price action came, I was hurt. I was given tons of money back, right? My first year of trading, I made tons of money. Second year, I lost tons, right? So this was a mind freeze, right? This was a serious blow to my ego, my self-esteem, my respect, right? And it took me a lot to really dive deep into the behaviors that it takes to become consistently profitable, right? So most of us do not want to accept it, which is why most of us consistently fail, let alone log it every day and review it. But the sooner you can do this, the sooner you can start to take full accountability for your trading results, whether good or bad, it will lead you to make the appropriate and necessary changes to your process, making the process consistent, making your mentality consistent, right? Consistency is a state of mind that is crafted through hard work and accountability from one's actions and behaviors. Once you develop the structure it takes to guide you properly through all the variables and opportunities the market presents, then you will truly begin to remove the randomness out of your trading, causing you to become more consistent, more confident, with more conviction, right? Less anxiety, less fear, right? So we're going to finish this off, guys. But do not wish it was easier. Wish you were better, right? It's from Jim Rohn. Absolutely love him. He's great. But guys, go through your journal. And if you're not journaling by now, you might as well shut it down. Don't watch the next lesson. And don't even show up to the market tomorrow. If you aren't willing to even journal your trade, what makes you think you deserve success? What makes you think you can beat the man that's showing up each and every single day, journaling his trade, figuring out where he's going wrong, diving deep into himself? You don't have a chance. Remember, the market is a magnifying glass of human behavior. When one wins, one loses, right? When one loses, one wins. Think about it. If you're losing your trades, who do you think it's to? It's not, your trades aren't going to a robot. They're going to somebody that has more esteem, more confidence, right? He has more structure. He has the ability to identify information in front of him and act on it unbiasedly, right? He has put in the work, years of it. He's got the capital. He has all the tools, all the moves it takes, all the strategies, right? And you think you can put on a losing trade, shut your computer, walk away? What sort of entitlement, what sort of privilege do you think you have, right? Because you don't, right? Stop wishing it was easier. Stop giving up. Figure out where it is you're going wrong and fix it. Because, right, when you put on a losing trade and you feel shameful, right? Take accountability for that. Stay down there. Figure out where you went wrong, right? Change it. Because then next time you're in that situation, it may not be the next trade, right? It may not be next year. It might be years from now. But once you finally develop the structure, the consistency, the respect, right? The decree that it takes to consistently put on trades, you're going to take accountability for that, right? Because when you're at the top, no one else gave it to you, right? Hope you enjoyed this lesson. I'll see you in the next.